In this video, we will see how to film with GoPro Hero 11. It's probably the same with a lot of other GoPro camera. So let's start just right now. Over here, we've got the GoPro. It is actually turned off and we can hit the record button on top and it will power on the camera and start recording. When you're done, you can press the record button and unfortunately the camera will turn off. You can't leave it on after that. But if you want to just take it on, you press the power button on the side and, well, you've got a regular camera on which you can start recording and stop recording. So that was easy. But in the next minute, we will see how to adjust the setting to your taste or to what you want to do. Actually, you can see that we are on top on video mode. If I swipe left, we are now in time-lapse mode. And if I swipe right, I am in photo mode. So for that video, we will stick to the video mode. So the settings are, well, you have some settings on the side over here, but those are some shortcuts that we will see a bit later. But the settings in which we will deep dive are that big black bar here. You see it says standard, so that's the name of the preset. And we are actually recording in 4K, 60 frames per second, and in wide. So if I press it, we will have access to some preset. We have those one. So standard, ultra slow-mo, activity, full frame, cinematic, they are all presets that I can edit. The one that I'm using right now is the standard because it is blue. And if I want to modify it, I will hit the pen. So I hit the pen and now I have those options. Woo, I forget to mention some things. If you're lost right now because you don't have all those options, well, swipe down and go on the right page and on control here, make sure the pro mode is enabled because on easy, you have way less things to play with. Here, the first one, resolution and FPS for frame per second. If I hit that, I have many options. On top, I have the format. So 16:9 is exactly what you can see right now. It's more landscapey. 4:3 is what we had in the old time, you know, with the old TV. It was all square, squeezed like that. I don't like it. Woohoo! So yeah, that was 4:3. And you've got 8:7 that actually I think it's the whole sensor. If you want to record just everything. I always record in 16:9. From there, you can choose to have 5.3K, which is the one that will use the most of the sensor, that will give you the ability to zoom in after that in post-pro without losing quality. So 5.3K can be useful for that, but I film everything in 4K or 2.7K. With a sensor this small, you can judge by yourself, but this is 5.3K. I don't know why I'm showing this to you because it's downscaled to 4K for that video. This is real 4K. This is 2.7K. And this is HD 1080p. Judge by yourself if you see the difference. If you don't see the difference between 4K and 2.7K, just film in 2.7K. It just creates smaller file size. So yeah, they are the resolution and that is the frame rate. Now, what do you want to choose for the frame rate? You've got 24, 30, 60, 120 and 240. Personally, I use 30 frames per second, but there's a lot of people that will tell you that 24 frames per second is the best things to do. Seriously, I just don't care. The one important thing is that when you pick one, you stick to it. Because when you are doing your video editing, you have to choose a frame rate And if the video you put in is not in the same frame rate, it will have to double some image or skip some. So it will not be as fluid as if you record in the same frame rate as the one you edit in. So when I was in college, my teacher told me to take 30 frames per second, so I just did stick to it. At some point I did think to change to 24, and I asked myself, why would I do that? So I did some research, and everybody that says that you should record in 24 frames per second have only one argument, and it's because it's the film look. So you ask them why, and it's because it's the film look. Okay, but why does it look better? Because it's the film look. So that did not convince me, so I stick to 30 frames per second. Do what you want with it. So once you are satisfied with your selection, so let's say I want 4K 30 frames per second, if I'm satisfied with that, I hit the blue button in the center to come back to that screen. And then we've got the lens. You can go from hyperview, which is only available in another, you see it did switch. If I want the hyperview, I need to go in 60 frames per second. So it did change me that. So I'm now you see it's how wide the video, it's how wide the camera will record your video. And you can go down, the one I use the most is this one, linear plus horizontal lock. Linear is, well, let's see an example of what you can have. This is hyperview, this is superview, this is wide, and this is linear. And the big thing about the other one, the one that are not linear, is that yes, you can see very, very wide, but it creates a distortion inside your image that I don't really like. So I stick to linear, except in some situation, and I also have the horizontal lock, because this one let me flip the camera as much as I want, and the image will always be level, even if I hold it that way, or even that way. Horizontal lock, I love it. Next feature, we've got the hyper smooth. So this is a level of stabilization. You've got the choice between off, so no stabilization. You've got on, boost, and auto boost. I like to leave it on auto boost. I think it does a great job. The stabilization on that camera is amazing. You shake the camera as much as you want, and you barely see it inside your footage. So I leave it on auto. The thing is with the boost is that it will zoom inside the sensor because it will need more space to do that stabilization. But on auto boost, it will only zoom in when needed. So if it's shake a lot. What else do we have? Schedule capture. If you want to leave your camera just right there and say that there is a recording to start at this time, you can power off the camera and it will turn on automatically to start the recording. That's a great feature. Next to that, you can add a duration limit. So if you want to record for, let's say, 2 hours or 15 seconds, 3 hours, you choose. It will automatically stop recording after that time. It doesn't need to be attached to schedule capture. So if you just set it to 5 seconds, every time you will start a recording, it will stop after 5 seconds. There is the inside that is kind of interesting. So if I turn that on, you see you have the choice between 15 and 30 seconds. So let's say 15 seconds. If I go out of here, you see here, you have a timer that is start just right here. It's because actually the camera is recording, but only keep it in the buffer, not inside the memory card. So now I have my full 15 seconds. It is recording everything, but now it deletes the first seconds to record the newest one. So it only keeps the last 15 seconds. And if I start recording a video, just like that, you see my timer start at 15 seconds because it record the previous one, and then I can stop it. So I just record for 7 seconds, but I got 22 seconds because I got the previous one. That is amazing. That is amazing. And now you see it start recording another buffer just right here. You can say stop inside if you don't want it anymore. What else do we have over here? Timer. So if you want, when you press the record button, have a timer before it starts. You have the choice between 3 seconds and 10 seconds or not. And if you see that I have some hard time to use the touchscreen, it's not because I'm looking at the camera inside another camera screen. Yes, it may be a part of it, but the touchscreen is just terrible on that camera. You've got a zoom that actually is not enabled, probably because I'm in linear lock. But this one, just don't use it. It's a digital zoom, so you can just do it in post-prod. Don't use it. You might ruin your shot if you do it. Don't do it. Then Protune, we've got 10-bit is on or off. You can see the difference by yourself. Well, this is 10-bit and this is 8-bit. I will not comment on this one because I am colorblind. So judge it by yourself, but for sure, in 10-bit, when you do your color correction, you have more to play with. And then we've got the bit-rate. You can set it to high or low. Unfortunately, they don't say what low is or standard is, but well, you can set it to high if you want to have, again, more to play with. Shutter, that is if you want to choose your shutter speed, so you can go up to 1/960, and the lowest would be 160. Yeah, because I'm in 60 frames per second for sure. Or you can leave it on auto. EV com, so okay, that might be interesting. So actually, because there is that very big spot over here, not ideal, but you see there is that big spot and I want to see the camera. The camera, this camera, will evaluate big brightness here, so it will reduce it, so make everything look darker. So if you are in this kind of situation, you can use the pen over here and EV com, I would say set it brighter. See, now I can see the camera. Normal, brighter. If I was filming something else just like that, you see it's too bright. If I set it to 0, it does look better. But when I want to film that camera, because there is that huge quantity of light that coming in, I might want to take it brighter. So that is what the EV is for. And actually, this is a great example of the terrible touchscreen. You've got your ISO minimum and maximum. The ISO is the quantity of electricity that pass inside the sensor. The more electricity that passes into the sensor, the more sensible it is to the light, but also the more grainy, the more noise there will be inside your image, so your image will be less sharp. What else do we have? Well, the sharpness. Sharpness is something that you don't want to abuse. Sharpness increase the sharpness of your image. It helps you to get more details. But if you abuse it, it doesn't look natural and it's not very fun to look at. The color, I keep it to natural. Some people that like to do those color correction will prefer to have it flat, and some other will just want it vibrant. It will just abuse the color inside the image. It might look great for something like a thumbnail, but I like to stick to natural. Raw audio will record another audio file. The wind, I don't think it does a great job in any mode, so I just leave it on auto. The media mode is something that you can attach to your camera. I did buy it and I did use it once. It's just a terrible product that I should never have buy, and I do not recommend it. It's useless. The microphone that is on it record a poorer quality of audio than the one on the camera. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. And the shortcuts are the same settings that we have seen right there. So you choose the one you want to have over here, and they will be at this position. So you see here I can modify my stabilization. I've got zoom. I can start a slow motion video and, well, those things. And you can also play with those presets that are over here. But personally, I just stick to that standard one and just adjust it if I want more frame per second or less and those kind of things. But usually I'm sticking to a regular 4K 30 frame per second, and I just don't change it. If I want more frame, if I want to do a slow motion instead of going into a slow motion mode or whatever, well, no, I could take that one, 2.7K. Yeah, I would do that. I'm not using that camera this much. I totally dislike it. But that's one way to go, or you can keep to standard and just go on the pen and edit the frame rate over here. Select it, go back. The preset is quite good to use. So yeah, once you're done playing with your settings, you hit the record button and it will record your video. So I hope this was helpful. You will have a playlist in a few seconds of other tutorial about this camera, and I hope to see you in another video. See ya.